Okay, so another video already. This one is going to be sort of in response to all these people with their bullshit prove it sort of questions. You're the academic, you fucking prove this, that, or the other thing. I'll tell you what, like, I really have almost no interest in doing that, but what I'll do is I'll throw out some numbers out there, and what I'll do is I'll see what you guys have to say about this. So I can't remember her name, but she was really snarky and superioristic on these comments here. But anyway, she made some sort of call of, you're making these claims, you should be able to back them up, blah, 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 blah. Well, first of all, no, I'm not going to. And I know that pisses you off, and it actually gives me a great deal of pleasure. But here's what I will do. I'm going to read off some stuff that I have on my screen here. These are sort of statistics that might want to, you might want to open your eyes on. 97+% of all combat deaths are men. 94% plus of all workplace fatalities are male. 76% of murder victims are male. 80+% of suicide victims are male. Now think about that for a second. For every one woman that kills herself, 4 men kill themselves, and that's every single age group, all the way up to the age of 75. 93% of the prison population is male. I know that you're going to be tempted at that situation to say, well, they should just be nicer people. But the question is do you honestly believe that if you took, say, 1,000 people, 50-50 men and women, are you honestly saying that 93% of the people that are bad in that crowd are all going to be male? I don't think so. I don't think women are that much nicer than men, thank you. Men die 5 years earlier on average. Now that's basically because they're getting thrown in jail, they're working deadly jobs, they're going on the military, and they're actually not getting very good health care. That's another one that just gets me. I mean, everybody makes this stereotype of guys that just don't like to go to the hospital, but nobody has ever come up with the thought, hey, I got an idea. Let's come up with an awareness campaign to actually get them to do it. No. That would be taking care of men, and we can't have that. The number of men paying support on children not actually theirs is estimated at 30%. Now, that's pretty outstanding, actually. That's amazing that it's that high. Men make up 35% of victims of domestic violence and receive no services until shelters were forced by law via a lawsuit instigated by an MRA, by the way, forced by law to provide them. Some shelters actually shut down rather than actually provide services to men. And keep in mind, these are the same places that a year ago were lobbying to have family pets in domestic violence shelters. Family pets were protected from DV, and men weren't. And these are the same people that are telling you that they're all about equality. So let's look at the other side. What are some of the stats on the life of women? Now, we've all heard the bullshit of, 1 in 4 women will be assaulted, and blah, 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 blah. Some of those have actually made its way into law, believe it or not. And I'll see if I can come up with a link and put it on the bottom of this here. We're not going to get into a lot of the feminist canards here because, frankly, we've all heard them before, and most of them, by the way, are flat-out fabrications. So, let's see what we got here. The life of women. Approximately 2/3 of all divorces are initiated by women. The most popular, to a point of about 64%, if I'm not mistaken, the most popular reason for these divorces being initiated was not feeling fulfilled. Women received sole custody in 84% of cases. There are over 270 women's commissions, including one in the White House, and only 1 men's commission in the United States. There are over 700 women's studies programs in the United States, but not 1 men's studies class, not 1 masculist or MRA perspective being taught anywhere in the United States, but 700 full programs, degree programs. Women control 80% of the discretionary spending. Everybody knows that, especially the advertisers. So That one's obviously not going to be in dispute. Here's another one that's a real giggle. Young single women out-earn young single men in the urban United States. Women comprise the majority of college graduates. This is not a surprise, considering women and girls basically do better in education from kindergarten straight on through until their master's or doctorate or whatever the hell it is they're going for. Women continue to benefit from affirmative action programs even when they're clearly not necessary. If there's all this stuff going on, women have all this money, women have all this education, and all the rest of that sort of stuff, and yet they still get preferential treatment in hiring. These are people who say that they're all about trying to make life better and to help the victim and help the little guy or little girl or whatever, and it's all about equality, etc., etc., etc. And yet you look at these numbers. How could you not be concerned? How could you look at 80+% of suicide victims are male and go, you know what? Men don't really need special consideration. I mean, suicide, yes, it's a very serious problem, and we should really do more for suicide. But no, we really don't need to look at anything other than to counsel these people, and we'll make sure that all of that money is spent equally, 50-50, girls and boys, because girls attempt suicide more often than boys do, which, by the way, is crap. They don't. But that's just one small example of how this stuff is. This number should scare the fuck out of you. And instead what it does is it sends you scrambling for excuses and ways to justify splitting off some of that attention and giving it to girls and women. Like, how fucking narcissistic can you be? 80+% are male. It's obvious there's something that's affecting males a hell of a lot more than it's affecting females. It's obvious just from that number alone. And yet, we can't show any kind of preference for boys. We can't show that boys every once in a while might need help, or men for that matter. Grown men who are in their 40s and 50s might even need help. My God, what losers they are. The point to this whole thing is that these numbers are out there. They're very easily found, and none of them are actually disputed. These numbers should scare the living hell out of you. And if they don't, seriously, I mean, I don't know how else to put this. If you can't see just how lopsided this bullshit is, or if you find yourself scrambling for reasons to justify it, or if you're wondering, oh geez, it can't possibly be that far out to lunch, there has to be reasons for it. I'll tell you what the reason is. Feminism, man-hate, patriarchy theory, feminist jurisprudence, female voting blocks. These are all reasons why these things are happening. Women in general, but by extension, frankly, women in general are voting in people that are coming out with policies like this to get their vote. Women are voting these people in, and women are hurting men with these policies, with people that are ignoring these numbers because it's not popular politically. And you know why it's not popular politically? Because women don't fucking care about men. Now, I do. I'm a man, so apparently I don't matter, but I care about men. And the reason why I'm doing these things is because of numbers like this. So, if this doesn't freak you out, or if this doesn't make you think to yourself, geez, we really do have to do something about this, and it's about time I stopped defending my own personal pet ideology and started actually looking at reality and thinking outside of just my own personal experience, then I'm you know what? I'm very happy. If you would rather sit back and take care of any number of other pet projects first, that is your prerogative. But I'm not going to sit here and take being told, prove it, any longer. If you can't be bothered to figure out this shit on your own, you ain't no friend of mine. And I sure as hell don't do stuff for people that aren't my friend.